black community has always been divided as to which way we should go. And in 2024, we still use the same talking points that a lot of our ancestors of the past used. Some people speak as if they're using the same words of Booker T. Washington when he spoke on conservatism. And you have a lot of black conservatives that like to use Booker T. Washington as a reference, even though they misquote him and use him in the wrong way. Some use W.E.B. Du Bois, which represents that civil rights way of thinking, that the same column that Dr. King came out of and what the black church deals with down. And some of those are your black bourgeois boule groups, right? And then you have the Garvey types, right? And the Garvey types are those Pan-African, red, black, and green. The European was never going to do anything for you. More on the lines of the Martin Delany who came before Garvey. Martin Delany and Frederick Douglass had that same, argument as to which way we should go. So now in 2024, we have Kamala Harris. And black people are more divided than they ever have been. And some say that she's not black, she's of Indian descent. Some say that she is black, but she doesn't represent us. She is not a Negro, or she is not black American. Her ancestors are not our ancestors, or her story is an immigration story. Ours is from the soil. So we have this argument. But something Malcolm X said some years ago, where you have the black bourgeois, boule class, and the athletes and entertainers are used as buffers to silence the grassroots people. So you have a lot of these entertainers, they'll come out and they don't care. They'll support Kamala 10 toes down because they're paid to carry a certain narrative. So you see people like Steve Harvey and Ricky Smiley using their platforms to push Kamala Harris, despite a large portion of the black community having questions for Kamala Harris, right? But you have people from the boule class who have a whole lot of money, and they don't really care about reparations. They don't really care about the things that black people are looking for because they're not from the communities with the average black person. They are from the elite classes of blacks. That same elite class that W.E.B. Du Bois came from, and this is why W.E.B. Du Bois and Booker T didn't get along. So let's look into what Ricky Smiley is saying, how he's antagonizing black people for not voting.
I'm just sick of the black people on the internet talking about I'm not with her. Okay, so if you're not with her, that means you with Trump. And y'all need to block every last one of their asses on Facebook and on Instagram and social media and stop. Like, that's just garbage.
Yeah.
It's just garbage.
Can everybody be united on anything?
Can't agree on a damn bucket of chicken. One person want a hot dog.
I always complain.
Black folks get on my damn nerves, man. Why everybody making all these celebrities making all these videos going off on Kamala Harris and stuff, and then the black men, Kamala Harris didn't prosecute you and treated you bad in court. I got treated bad in court too. But I'm with her because a vote for her. If you sit at home and you don't support her, you are definitely supporting Donald Trump. You can vote for who you want to, but don't be trying to encourage other people and sit up there and put bad stuff. Where's that same energy for Donald Trump?
Yeah. Well,
you know what I'm saying?
I'm just like, don't vote for him. It is what it is.
Y'all not even out here doing real research to look at her record. If you do the research or whatever, stop believing everything you read and do real research, you can see what her record is. You can see what she have done. I think you can Google what have Kamala Harris done for the black community or things that black people benefit from a lot. We need to stand with her.
Yes.
We need to stand with her. She's great. She will make a great president. And what a blessing to be living in a time where a black woman can become president of the United States of America. In our time, we get a black man and a black woman become president. That's unheard of.
Come on, man.
Stop it.
Message. Be on the right side of history. Be on the
right
side of history.
It's just the Amber Rose and everybody got all these videos and stuff and talking about Kamala Harris talking out of both sides of her. How would you say something so disrespectful? Even if you felt that way, I wouldn't dare make a video or say nothing like that to the vice president of the United States of America that's trying to stand up and that's going to possibly pick 2 United States Supreme Court justices.
But see, Malcolm X, he spoke on this issue. And back before he was assassinated, he called out the playbook. And he explained the playbook that the dominant society uses and how they use it to further break up the community. So the way I broke down the history in the beginning of this video, letting us know that we're using talking points from our historical figures of the past, Malcolm X went into detail and explained how these athletes and entertainers, they use as buffers to actually silence the grassroots community, and it sounded something like this.
I told you a little while ago, these leaders that they call leaders, this included Lena Horne, this included Dick Gregory, and this included comedians, comics, trumpet players, baseball players. Show me in the white community where a comedian is a white leader. Show me in the white community where a singer is a white leader, or a dancer or a trumpet player is a white leader. These aren't leaders. These are puppets and clowns that have been set up over the black community by the white community and have been made celebrities and usually say exactly what they know that the white man wants to hear. And it is an honor, actually, that they endorsed Dr. Martin Luther King and were against the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That's actually an honor.
See, in today's time, a lot of these black liberals, they like to talk about the Republicans, talk about how racist the W Republicans can be. But they don't talk about these W liberals and how even up here in the Northeast Corridor, they had the biggest slave plantation back then. Right up here in the East Coast Corridor, not in the South. They were just as racist. When we was immigrated to these cities up here, they relegated us and redlined us into black communities. They didn't want us around them either. Nothing had changed. Nothing has changed. So the Democratic Party was really staunchly against us back then. Both parties were, but a lot of our people voted Republicans in the past before they came up with a bunch of empty promises and not fulfilling federal law to protect us. So we had to switch over. And when LBJ signed that deal, the bill, we went over to Democrats. But we were already, listen, we've had broken promises from both parties, right? But Malcolm X doubled down and he spoke about the black liberal. And because we had already understood the other side, because they tell you how they feel to your face. The other group put their arm around you and act like they're your friend, while at the same time, doing what they do to you. But Malcolm X called this out. Check this out.
White liberals who have posed as our friends, white liberals who have been eager to point out what the white men in the South has been doing to us, while they themselves here in the North are doing the same thing. They have been making a great fuss over the South, only to blind us to what is happening here in the North. And now that the eyes of America's 20 million blacks can easily see that this white fox here in the North is even more cruel and vicious than the white wolf in the South. The Southern wolves always let you know where you stand. But these Northern foxes pose as white liberals. They pose as your friend, pose as your benefactor, pose as your employer. They pose as your landlord. They pose as the neighborhood merchant. They pose as your lawyer trying to help you. They infiltrate all your organizations, and in this manner, by joining you, they strangle your militant efforts toward freedom, toward justice, and toward equality.
So now we get to Steve Harvey. And we all know the story of Steve Harvey. We remember when Steve Harvey went on to his show in front of all those W folks and said that he don't care for slavery. And he came under fire for that. And he doubled down on it and said it twice and then said he don't care about, he just said a whole bunch of stuff that got black people very upset. And we know that Steve Harvey is very rich. You know, he's in the elite boule class. And he doesn't care about reparations for black folks. He doesn't care about gentrification for black folks. He's part of that elite class. That's the elite class that Martin Delaney spoke about, right? That the bourgeois, when you have one of the first black secret society groups forming here in 1896, right here in Philadelphia, right? That W.E.B. Du Bois was a part of. So him and Henry Minton. So you can look those things up, right? Steve Harvey is part of those different groups. You know, when he holds the symbols up, him and Ricky Smiley, they do all those kind of things. But he had a chance to interview Kamala Harris. and ask Kamala Harris some serious questions. But he threw us some softballs because he's paid and told what to do by the liberal class, because he's one of the part of that bourgeoisie. See, well, let's look at what he had to say for her, and then I'll come back.
Trying to stay on course, so just let me go off this paper for a minute. Before y'all start calling my radio show and DMing me, talking about why you ain't asked no hard-hitting questions, that ain't what this is. I'm throwing a lob. This is an alley-oop for a dunk, because this administration needs to get the word out of what they're actually doing and what they're actually accomplishing, so we can stop all this foolishness about what you're doing for black people. Can't nobody come out with no agenda and call it this for black people and expect to get in the White House. You got to play the game different. Y'all know what this is. So now this next question is another lob for her to dunk. Because they done a lot, man. But we see, I'm on this radio show, I'm hearing all these people talking about, I'm not voting if they not doing nothing for us. Listen to me. If you do not vote, the analytics will show. They know how many women vote, they know the age you are when you vote. If we don't vote, how we gonna ask for something next time? If you ain't got no voting power, you talking about reparations. Ain't nobody finna give you no reparations and you don't vote? Why, you think they finna give us some money? No how, man. I hope they do. They owe us. I'll go down there. I'm sorry. Madam, I know I ain't coming back next year. I appreciate y'all.
So again, these groups do not represent us. These people are getting their reparations through being an athlete, entertainer. They're highly paid by the different groups of dominant society to push a certain narrative. And this is what they do. That's why they're entertainment. They're part of programming. They social engineer and program you to think a certain way. So you'll never see other groups come and use athletes and entertainers to be the spokesman for them politically. It doesn't happen like that. No. Only in the black community, black American community, where they do that. But in the miseducation of the Negro, Carter G. Woodson speaks about this, right? Chapter 6, the miseducation of the Negro, it speaks where it says the educated Negro leaves the masses. The educated Negro leaves the masses, right? And this is where they had your talented 10th, right? To try to build this educated Negro up where he can come back and build. But once he got educated, he left the masses. He began to marry out. He began to think he was better than the group. And Du Bois wanted to create this, but this is where a lot of your black bourgeoisies come from. They think that they're better. They think that they're different from you. And Booker T. Washington spoke about this. He was the one that created the black economic blueprint that Elijah Muhammad, Marcus Garvey, and all of them began to create the economic blueprint. But he understood, separate from Du Bois, that we got to rebuild and do things on our own. We have to do things for ourselves and build it and build it here. Garvey came with a more Pan-African thought of thinking that these W folks would never give you anything. But when you're dealing with these black bourgeoisies of today, they don't care. They just push Kamala Harris because they're told to push Kamala Harris. They're telling you how you should think, and if you don't do it, they shame you. Now, I'm not for Trump or Kamala. I don't like Trump's policies either, right? I don't like the fact that Trump is bringing in all of these federal judges that's more inclined with giving more power back to the state, because our plight with reparations and our argument to get certain executive orders put on the books is a federal argument. But these federal judges is not Negro friendly. No, they're not. They're ignorant, or they're tone deaf to our plight. And Trump is putting these people in positions, right? I'm not in favor of Kamala Harris's positions either, of allowing all these immigrants to come here where they can replace your voting numbers. I get it. So what is the black agenda? But it's still the same argument, because these people are here. They have their money. They have their stuff set up. They don't care nothing about you. They don't care nothing about you. So the thing is, man, through the church today, the black church, all you got to do is plead the blood of Christ, and now you're my brother. And we forget all about this. So now all of a sudden, we don't go by group no more. We just look at Kamala Harris and say she's black because she says she's black. We don't have a black American agenda. So every executive order that's put on the books under federal law to protect them, was supposed to protect us, came from foundational black American men and women fighting to get things passed for us. That came from them. Every civil rights bill that's been put, that was supposed to be for us, not for people of color. But Kamala and them is turning it to all people and people of color, not things specifically for the foundational black people that was here from the beginning. But y'all so ignorant, you just let them push it and propagate it and push it off to you. So it has nothing to do. I don't care whether she's black or white. I'm looking at she doesn't represent the people of my past that fought to get certain laws on the book. Her story is an immigration story. My story is not, when you're dealing with my grandparents. But I'll cut the video short there. If you made it this far in the video, hit that like button. Subscribe to Street Media TV, man. But this is the people like Steve Harvey, people like Ricky Smiley, and all of these people, they're pushing this narrative to socially Joy Reid, to socially engineer black women and a lot of black people into just going along with anything. But you have to be a thinker for yourself and make your own decisions. So if you made it this far in the video, hit that like button, subscribe to Street Media TV. And remember, I love y'all. Till the next time. Peace.